In this video, I'm going to cover metric prefixes. So we're going to go through our different metric prefixes, such as centi and giga and mega, things you've heard before. And then we'll do some conversions of converting between them. So let's start with our base units. That's what we're always going to go through when we do our conversion problems. And for our class, the three main base units are grams for mass, liters for volume, and meters for distance. We are going to start with prefixes that are smaller than the base unit, starting with deci, symbol D, and it has a meaning of 10. Centi, C, which is 100. Milli, little m, which is 1,000. Then we have micro, which has the symbol shown there, which is 1,000,000 or 10 to the 6th. And I'll get to what these mean in a second. And then nano, which has a symbol N, which is 1,000,000,000 or 10 to the 9th. So what do those numbers mean? Well, I mentioned that all of these prefixes are smaller than the base unit. So all these listed here that you need to know are smaller than the base unit. So let's think about grams. Okay, so if I essentially have 1 gram and 1 decigram, a decigram is smaller. So we could say that 1 gram equals 10 decigrams. That's what that 10 means. Or 1 gram is 100 centigrams. Or 1 gram is 1,000 milligrams, and so on and so forth. So we see that the bigger unit, the gram, gets the 1, and the other unit, or prefix, gets the number I wrote down. So our mantra is the bigger one gets the 1, meaning the bigger unit is going to get the 1 in our conversion. So this is going to be helpful now as well when we do our metric prefixes that are larger or bigger than the base unit. So we have deca, which is D-E-K-A, symbol D-A, and the conversion we're going to use for that is 10. Hecto, H, conversion 100. Kilo, K, conversion 1,000. Mega, capital M, conversion 1,000,000 or 1 times 10 to the 6th. And then finally giga, which is going to be prefix symbol capital G, and that is 1,000,000,000, 1 times 10 to the 9th. Okay, so these are bigger than the base unit, larger than the base unit. So 1 kilogram is larger than just 1 gram, right? Bigger. So these are bigger. When we have these prefixes, they're bigger than the base unit. Okay, so the bigger one gets the 1 in our conversion. So 10 grams is 1 decagram, right? That's where our decagram is bigger, so it gets the 1. 100 grams is 1 hectogram. 1,000 grams is 1 kilogram. The bigger one gets the 1. So all of these prefixes are bigger, right? So they're going to get the 1 with them. So what you'll need to do is memorize, right, that deci is 10 and it's smaller than the base unit. Deca is also 10, but it's bigger than the base unit. And now, and with your mantra, the bigger one gets the 1, you'll always be able to do your conversions correctly. So what we're going to do is work some examples. So our first example is we're going to convert a number, and we're going to convert 55, we're just going to convert 55 centigrams to grams. Okay, so what we're always going to do first is think about which of those units is bigger, because here we're just going from a prefix to our base unit. So we can say which is bigger. So which is bigger? Right, the grams is bigger. Remember, centi is smaller than the base unit. So we can say 1 gram is 100 centigrams. You have to memorize that, but we always know the bigger one gets the 1, right? So gram is bigger than centigram. So we can do our conversion. We'll start with the number given, 55 grams. We're going to write our conversion in. 1 gram on the bottom, 100 centigrams on top. This is going to allow our units to cancel. That's what we want. So our grams cancels out and we get centigrams for our answer, which is what we're trying to get. So this becomes 5,500 centigrams. And that is 2 sig figs because we had 2 sig figs in our original number. Oh, and just to point out, these are all the metric conversion factors are exact infinite sig figs. So let's convert 2.25 kilometers to meters. Okay, so we want to think, which is bigger, kilometer or meters? So what do you think? Kilometers is bigger. So the bigger one gets the 1. So 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. So we memorize, okay, kilometer, 1,000, but the bigger one gets the 1. So 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So doing our problem, we have 2.25 kilometers. We're going to convert 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. So we write it like this so our units will cancel out. So kilometers on the bottom, meters on the top. And we do our math and we get 2,250, 3 significant digits. Again, the metric prefixes are exact. So 2,250 kilometers, or meters, meters. So those 2 examples had us converting from a prefix to the base unit. So let's do a little more complicated example here where we're going to convert 25.34 centiliters to milliliters. So we're not going to the base unit here in our problem, and it doesn't ask for the base unit, but we are always going to go through that base unit. So it's going to be 2 steps. Okay, so we want to go through the base unit. So what's the base unit in this case? If we think about centiliters and milliliters. Liters is the base unit. So we want to go through liters. So we have to think about our conversion. Which is bigger, centiliters or liters? Liters is bigger. So the bigger one gets the 1. 1 liter is 100 centiliters. We're going to use that conversion. But we don't want to end there. We got to go liters to milliliters. So which is bigger here? Well, liters is still bigger. So liters is bigger. So 1 liter is 1,000 mils. The bigger one gets the 1. So those are our 2 conversions. So 25.34 centiliters is given. We start with that number. We're going to use our first conversion factor to go through the base unit. So 1 liter on the top, 100 centiliters on the bottom. So that way we can see that centiliters is going to cancel out. We get to liters, but we're not done yet, right? We don't want to go to just liters. We want to go to mils. So we use our second conversion factor of 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. So the liters cancel out. We're left with mils or milliliters. And so we do our calculation and we get 253.4 milliliters, 4 sig figs based on the original 4 sig figs in the number given. So we had 2 steps in this problem, but you always go through the base unit and remember your mantra. The bigger one gets the 1. So our next example is going to be to convert a number again, and we're going to convert 1.5 times 10 to the 9th micrograms to kilograms. So again, it's not asking for us to go to the base unit, but we need to always go through the base unit to get to our final answer, our final destination. Okay, so what's our base unit here? Grams. All right, so we got to think. Bigger one gets the 1. Which is bigger, grams or micrograms? Grams is bigger. So 1 gram is 10 to the 6th micrograms, or a million micrograms. Then we have to go what? We have to go from grams to kilograms. Which one's bigger? Kilograms is bigger. So 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, right? The bigger one gets the 1. So we do our conversions now, and we write our given number 1.5 times 10 to the 9th micrograms. We are going to make sure we're going to use our conversion for grams to micrograms. So microgram goes on the bottom, 10 to the 6 micrograms per 1 gram. So that cancels out our micrograms. We're at grams, but we're not done, right? Because we need to go to kilograms. So second conversion factor, we have 1,000 grams on the bottom to cancel out with the other grams, and 1 kilogram on the top. So the grams cancels out, and we're going to get kilograms. And so actually when we do this, our number that we get is 1.5 kilograms. So as you can see, we went through our base unit and used our conversions using our mantra. The bigger one gets the 1.